And we're recording. Hi, hello, welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk about me. Ironically, even though there is no actual me. I wanted to talk about, I guess my concept of self, which doesn't really exist because of my NPD, let's just say. That's one facet of it. I guess I don't really want that to be the only thing that defines who I am, but I guess it's a place to start. There's a there's an explanation as to how I got this diagnosis in the first place. I mean, I feel like on a philosophical level, nobody's really in control of anything. So you can say from a determinist perspective, oh, I can only sit here because the only option is to either sit or not sit here. Like it's not up to me, it's not up to anyone else between the options of do or don't do this, but we have, I guess, an illusion of choice to pick what we're going to do. And that's what I mean with I guess freedom isn't real, or being there is just, I don't know, some sort of facade. But I guess because I'm a narcissist, I think I'm aware of this more than most people, honestly, which is weird because did I not just say in the beginning that I don't want my NPD to be the only thing that defines me? Well, I guess, I mean, it is a big chunk of who I am, so I guess there's really no running away from it because I guess there isn't really anything to run away from. My concept of self in terms of who I am is so weak. I guess it's just not fully there. It doesn't feel fully developed. I just have a sense of indifference all the time. And then maybe occasionally I'll get into emotional moods because apparently being emotional is part of the human experience. And not having any feelings makes you weird, even though my feelings just seem like a fucking disease. Because the way I see it, you can only feel good or bad, right? You either feel positive or negative emotions. But then again, why do we even have to feel that shit? I mean, we're just here living our average, ordinary lives and nothing's really happening. But I guess, oh, okay, because the humans are social creatures, we have to fucking bond and connect with each other and establish friendships and whatever, relationships, all that kind of stuff. And then we just use each other and pretend like we're having a good time, and then we fucking die. I don't know. To me, it's always felt shallow. It's always felt fake. I've never really seen relationships as anything more than people having an agreed upon, agreement to stroke each other's ego. Oh, you're tolerable enough to be with, but then people are like, oh, I want to be with someone who challenges my views, encourages me to be a better person or be the best version of myself as I possibly can, or whatever. But then obviously people still, throw away other people, or, separate from other people if their quote unquote values don't line up enough. And I always thought that shit was just fucking fake. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get throwing away, tossing people that are not going to be good for you, but I just mean in terms of values. I don't really understand where anybody gets a sense of personal attachment to this world. I see why people are together. I guess for the maximum efficiency of things. I'm not a fucking expert. If I hypothetically needed let's say open heart surgery or some shit like that, then okay, the surgeon's gonna do that for me. And because of my weakness in terms of needing fucking open heart surgery, I put money in their pocket, so they need sick people. I can't see it any way other any way other around it not being anything more than something transactional. But then people are always talking about how the experience, the connection that you deal with somebody is something special, something I guess that's something that's really great. And I mean, I think I understand that it's great. I mean, yeah, it's chemicals. When someone says something good about me, like, I don't know, they give me a compliment, I know I'm supposed to smile, I guess, or I know I'm supposed to be like appreciative that someone would use words to make me feel good. And the way I understand it is, yeah, if I'm saying nice things about you, then I'm trying to, uplift you. But it's like, is there any difference to that than someone else just saying, "Hey, pass the blunt" or "Give me some drugs"? I don't know, because like basically this entire reality is just shaped by like the experiences that our brain believes us to process, whether or not it's genuine or not. I don't know, because this world might not even exist, and it's not even that bullshit about it being like, oh my gosh, maybe everything's a simulation, blah blah blah, things like that. Like, I'm just talking about you specifically, like however you were wired or like coded to be, like who had a fucking say in that? Because like if I wasn't socialized in any capacity to speak the language that I do, I can't even imagine what way I would translate how I think or feel, blah blah blah, things like that. So I'm just like, I don't know what's real about this experience. As far as I know, okay, we're just like atoms or some shit or whatever the fuck we're actually made of. Like the material, let's say, just like clashing back and forth together. And it's like when I live my life, I'm still somewhat looking at it from like the sidelines. Like, okay, I'm dealing with it, obviously. Like, this is my life. This is my experience right in front of me. Like, if we're having a conversation, if we're hanging out, I don't know, like, I'm processing the words that, you're trying to tell me. But then again, I'm just like, okay, so what? I know I just have to do this like a whole bunch of times necessary until I fucking die, until you fucking die. Who's to say you'll even be in my life throughout like the entirety of it? There's so many people that I had like one-time conversations with, and now they're just fucking gone. And in a way, it still feels the same to me, even when I'm like referring to like my closer relationships in terms of like, okay, like if I have any closer friends, I mean, I don't even know, because I don't want to put words in people's mouths. But I guess like, okay, if you consider me a close friend and you happen to be watching this, then like, okay, thanks, I suppose, even though I don't even entirely know what that means. Because like, I don't know, we have teams, right? And we're just trying to survive. Like, why is it that when people get together, they make fun of shit that they don't understand? Like fucking liberals making fun of conservatives, conservatives making fun of liberals, the religious thinking that the non-religious are stupid and that God's gonna fucking, cast his revenge by making them end up in hell or some shit because we didn't accept fucking Jesus or whatever the hell it is that you believe. Like, I see so many contradictions like all the time. And like depending on like who you're with, you have to like alternate the self that you give to other people. Like, I guess you wouldn't really say the shit that you say to your friends to like your parents, because I don't know, let's say maybe hypothetically you want to appear more respectable, or like yeah, people act differently in like different contexts and shit. And I'm not judging. Well, I guess I am, but I mean, just like, I do it too, I guess. I don't know, because like we get different reactions and we get different understandings of like different people. So we adjust and coordinate ourselves accordingly in terms of like what makes sense. But it's like, why does nobody want to acknowledge this? Like, why does nobody want to acknowledge that like they're just trying to like make the reality of the script in their mind like to the world, and then yeah, we just have to keep doing this, almost as if like we just have to keep reading a book until we get to the last page, and then that's done. And we can read it again, but in a way we'll never get the first experience of like enjoying it for the first time. Like why do you think people comment shit on like certain videos on YouTube? Let's say if like songs being like, oh, I wish I could go back to listening to this for the first time. Or if they're talking about movies they enjoy, I wish I could go back to watching this for the first time. Because when you think about it, all our relationships are just like an idealization, a made up romanticization of something that just faded away and like now it's gone. Like, okay, people take photographs. And don't get me wrong, I look at pictures and I can smile at them, whatever, but I'm just like, again, it's all wired and it's all code. It's just biology. and yet we insist that like we're somehow this like big sort of deal. Like the human race just like baffles me. Like none of it like makes any fucking sense like in the slightest. Because like say for example you believe in God, like okay you're supposed to humble yourself because God is the perfect ultimate being or something. But then again, religious people under the same breath will also say, okay, find your meaning in life. A nihilistic point of view is depressing, blah, blah, whatever. You know, a lot of people will say that in general because like, you have to find the meaning in your life. You have to find the purpose. And I'm just like, why are so many of these things clashing together? I don't even get it. And then, I don't know, I guess I'm the weird one because a lot of times I just get like a sense of indifference towards like all of it. Because like, I'm jumbling so many things and it's like, everyone is, I guess, but it's like they don't want to recognize it. They don't want to recognize like the feedback loop essentially. Like, oh, the confirmation bias that like we all go through because, okay, most people you interact with are in some form or another going to confirm the beliefs that you already have because most likely they probably already believe in the same thing. And even anybody that does quote unquote challenges your beliefs or like whatever, you tolerate them enough because I guess they don't essentially shatter your ego, I guess. Because like, okay, see, that's why I think it's all a scam. When people are like, okay, I can still accept different people. I can still like, like, no, you can't. Because like, here's the thing. People don't like their, like, I guess like the idea of their sense of self being like shattered. That's why people are like, oh, I can't accept nihilism. I can't accept that my life doesn't have like any meaning. Otherwise, I'm going to kill myself. But then here's the thing. I'm not necessarily saying this aligns with being like nihilistic. It's like, okay, react however the fuck you want towards it. But like, I don't know. The way I see it, if I'm just so indifferent to life, why wouldn't I just react naturally to like my biology? So yeah, I'm gonna eat. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. But like, here's the thing. I don't even care about it. Like I'm still doing it, but I don't care about it. And like under the same breath, like if you can ask like, okay, like, oh, if your life doesn't have meaning, why don't you kill yourself? Like, I don't care to kill myself. I don't care that I'm doing things to survive, but at the same time, I don't care to also kill myself. So see, that's the absurdity of like existence that like, I don't understand why people, let's say they like, can't grasp. Because like, okay, they almost talk as if like their meaning is gonna somehow make them immortal or some shit. Like, no, it's not. Like you're gaslighting yourself, it's distraction, like you're just gonna die. It doesn't matter how much passion you pour into something. You're just gonna end up fucking maggot food in the ground or cremated, if that's hypothetically what goes for you. And you're just gonna be fucking powder, essentially, flakes, whatever fucking word you wanna use for it, yeah. Ashes. Okay, so we're going with that, yeah. You're just gonna be like, yeah, your ashes, essentially, if you get cremated. But then like, okay, relaying this all back again to like my sense of self. See, it's not there. Because like I can't even talk about myself unless it's like in relation to other people. It's either I fucking hate people so much, or maybe they're okay and I care about like some people or something like that. Even then, even those people can still, in a way, get on my nerves a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know where you're supposed to get this like sense of like whole from, because kind of like what I said, we're just reacting to the external situations that like we place ourselves in. And even I'm saying that as somebody that's very internal monologue focused. I'm an INTP, if you care about typology in like any sort of degree. So I know that I'm processing everything through my point of view, and I'm trying to make it make sense. But then I'm also somehow supposed to care about other people, and I'm also supposed to worry about whatever happens in this reality. But I also have to have a sense of self, but I also have to know what I care about, I guess like passionately. And I have to know that what I care about somehow translates into the actual world, because, oh, we live in a society, and like as human beings, we need a fucking legacy. I'm just like, what, like what is that? It's just ludicrous. It's just absurd, and it doesn't make like any sense. And I don't know, I feel like some people might watch this and they might like get the wrong idea. It was like, oh, you don't care about me. But like, here's the thing though. I care about you, let's say, but I don't care that I care about you, if that makes any sense. Because like, again, that's what I'm saying. It's part of the programming. Like if you're my friend, my immediate family member, of course I'll do the things that in a way that, are required to be written in the script of like, what you quote unquote like deserve or whatever, even though this is just like random shit, because so much of the world is out of my control and there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, I'm not God and I don't have any particular influence or whatever, even though I could hypothetically like desire, but even then, that's what I mean. When I think about myself and when I think about life, it's like the only way it sounds pleasant is if like we fantasize and go through like the ideas of it. And I know some people are going to be like, okay, stop fantasizing, like make it like a reality. I mean, like, who cares? Because I feel like other people don't even realize it, but like I said, I'm an INTP, so I do live in my mind like 24/7, constantly thinking, analyzing, and like all that shit. It's like, okay, even if I follow your advice, okay, yeah, I get it. If it's what's considered real in this world happens externally, outside of ourselves. That idea that, okay, there's a separation between us. But like, okay, then why wouldn't people just settle when they finally get it? Like when people accomplish their goals, like essentially like they want something else, because people always have this idea, especially people that are like, oh my gosh, I'm so goal driven. I'm so like into self-improvement, being the best me, whatever, blah, 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 this and that. Like they need new goals because they don't want to feel like they're stagnating. So like in a way, how are we all not just like filling in like a void or something? Because like I can understand the life of just wanting to drink away everything, or just wanting to like smoke weed or do this, or like, just like fulfill those like hedonistic tendencies, but like, oh, it's not real. But like, here's the thing though, none of this is real. So I'm not even real. You're not real. Like, again, it's all just matter, or whatever it is you want to call it, just like reacting to each other and just like, I don't know, just fucking, like how do I even say this? How do I even say this? Because like the fact that I can even ask that question, how do I even say this, even though I didn't invent the words, how do I even say this? It's just, yeah, things happening. So what is the purpose of this video? I don't know, like I told my girlfriend that like perhaps if somebody out there with like NPD or just like a cluster B disorder in general might see this and like maybe they'd have like something to relate to. But I'm just like, do I care about that? I might reach a point, I mean, I did at the time, but like hypothetically, when I told her that, but like I might reach a point where it's just, I don't know, I'll be misanthropic again. And I'm just like, oh, well, I'll take that back, or I'll do this. I'm just like nothing about this world feels consistent. And now you might just say, okay, that's my problem. Like, okay, but like, I don't know, because like then it's like a philosophical mindfuck where it's like, are we truly hypocrites, or do we just find better versions of ourselves, let's say? Because like, when people like to say things like, oh, I'm not defined by my past or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, we can argue back and forth all day long. Like, okay, what patterns are we inclined to do or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, again, it all just ties back to everyone's bias. Like they're made up wiring in their mind to think and feel the things that they do. And yeah, like again, there is no us. It's just things happening. And okay, if I say this, it somehow connects to like what the bigger script apparently. I mean, maybe in the sense that, okay, sure, if we're speaking the same language, yeah, we speak the same language. So like it fits the narrative of that script, let's say. But then it's like, I don't know, this like egotistical need for us to think that like we have to stand out, even though we're technically no different than animals in the way that like, sure, okay, animals probably can't ask abstract questions like what is the meaning of life, what is our purpose, what makes right and wrong, blah, 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 things like that. They're driven by, let's say, yeah, their biology too, which is like food, shelter. But here's the thing, we all need those things as well. And I feel like I've been thinking for like the longest time, we are not special. So what is there to even feel like as a whole? Everything is built on a house of cards. And I don't even know what I'm trying to do, because like maybe I guess I'm trying to persuade you into my worldview, but then again, I'm also trying to talk about how I don't have a true sense of self, because I guess how that translates in this world is that most people have like a delusional illusion of a sense of self that they believe, okay, is me, but because I can't do that, or at least like I can't look beyond the wiring, because okay, here's the thing, there is nothing beyond the wiring when you think about it. Like, I think that's why we had to like make up like random religions or some shit, or like random stories, something to like, draw inspiration by. But like, who cares? We're just gonna die. And I'm not even saying that in like an upsetting sort of way. Why the fuck do I care that I'm gonna die? It was never my choice. So I just have to accept whatever flows through. I have a fucking video about Taoism, which is like, essentially just like accepting things as they are, because it's just the way. There is no is. It's just the way. And we make up these random borders that we decide, okay, this moment in time is particularly important. But time's not even real. Who cares? Time is only there to, like, let's say, signify that, like, oh, this happened when this, because for some reason that's important, even though it's gone now. We're just here in this current moment, and it's a blank slate. That's why we have to do things like idealize the past or idealize the future for what it could possibly be. It makes no fucking sense. But if it makes no fucking sense, am I asking the same question of like, what did I even just say in that case? I don't know. Like, people just keep saying, oh, just learn, talk to other people, read books, find out different worldviews. And like, no, it's all just a fucking cope. Because like, okay, if you are the person that wants to challenge everyone's views on like the fucking daily, people think you're annoying. People think like, okay, just live and let live. But then again, unless you chart on their territory, it's no longer live and let live. Even though, okay, again, I see hypocrisy everywhere. Because like, okay, if you start judging, let's say, and you start hating things, people are like, oh, you're just bitter and spiteful. So maybe like, like calm down and just let people do the things that they want. But then like, can it also not be reverse? Like if who I am is like, let's say hypothetically judgmental and hateful, then you're preventing me from being that way. So is what you're technically saying, like, is it not even live and let live? It's live and let live unless you're the archetype that you see of me that shouldn't be done. What are we even saying? It's like the moment we say something, it just calls out the hypocrisy, or it just calls out like the nonsensical, like there is nothing to actually do other than impose your way and convince other people that it's not selfish, but it is. And then people are going to say, okay, there is such a thing as selflessness. People are going to tell me that I'm projecting, and like, okay, maybe I am. I know I'm a narcissist. I know I have NPD. So I'll admit that I'm selfish, but like in a way, I can't see how no one is selfish. Because like people will be like, oh, it's selfless if you don't add yourself in the decision that like you're making. But yes, you did in a way. You decided for yourself that you didn't matter because that makes you comfortable to care more about somebody else. So no matter what you do, the way I see it, it always links back to, I guess, like the power and influence that like you can do. Even if it's not necessarily like bad things. Like, okay, let's say there's a perfectly good day more or less and a group of friends are like hanging out. Maybe there's one person, the naturally more extroverted person, is going to go out of the way to suggest things like, oh, let's eat here for lunch. Oh, there's a movie showing it. I heard it was really nice. And then, they hype it up like, because like, okay, all anyone does is essentially give a sales pitch. A sales pitch. And if you believe it, there's nothing more to add because you already agree. So you intact their ego for them. But, obviously if there's another clash, if there's another sales pitch, then, oh, we have to go out of our way to convince somebody of this, convince them of that. Then I just like, I can't see it any other way. And like it's just a stupid, random, made-up game. And those who get to make the rules are just the ones with a lot of power. And I guess with that power, they have the influence to convince the stupid mob, the sheep of mobs, that are just going to do everything, quote unquote, for the greater good. Fuck the greater good. How many times has the greater good been said for different things all throughout history? Like, so many changes have progressed through society. Yeah, progressed in like quotes. Because like, for example, maybe there's like discriminatory people who didn't want things like less discrimination for this particular group of like people. The only difference now is they don't have the power to do anything in a way that was the same back then, let's say. I'm not saying that all of those issues have disappeared, obviously, but like, you know, it's control. It's all hierarchies. Like, all of the social dynamics are just like, okay, who's gonna push their agenda? Who's gonna push their narrative? And I'm doing the same thing, making this video, and like, and if you're listening for like whatever the fuck reason this is entertaining you, or this is informing you in any sort of way, I guess in terms of like NPD sort of like experience, then like I guess you're welcome then for that, if that's why you're watching, or like whatever reason you're watching, and be like, okay, whatever source that you're using my video for, entertainment, it's, you know, it's for you. And yet we have to try, okay, this is what I just realized now. Well, not just now, but I mean, like, I've always thought this. It's like, okay, we as human beings manipulate each other into thinking that we care. Even though, okay, a lot of things is like, okay, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. There's like transactions to things. But then people will be like, oh no, it's spiritual, it's chemical. Like, yeah, because those are the fucking chemicals making your brain loopy. It's all just biology, and people want to manipulate and think that it's, oh, so much more special. And like, love is the greatest thing. I guess it is the greatest thing. I have a girlfriend. I love her in like the best way that I think I should be doing it. And I'm sure she does too for me. She loves me in the best way that she thinks makes sense for me. And I like really do appreciate it. But then at the same time, I still don't even really know whether I'm participating there or not. Because like, I like to think I care. I do care. But it's like, there's two parts of me that are always constantly battling. Because like, there's a part of me that's so self-aware. And maybe that's just my narcissism again. But like, okay. And there's a part of me that falls to the human illusions and the tricks. Love, friendship, this, being heard, this and that. Maybe you've even had encounters with me where you thought I was a nice guy, I was a good person, or whatever, or like, you know, somebody that's worthy of your time. How the fuck way you classify that? Because who's worthy of anyone's time? We're all just gonna die before that. And then it's like when people have funerals, they think they're gonna celebrate that life, and then no, they're just gonna go through the same thing again. So like, who cares? What did you preserve? What did you memorialize? Let's just say. Because like, okay, when I die, and hypothetically there's a funeral for me, and whoever the fuck shows up, okay, I know you're just gonna die too. So what does it entail? What are we doing? God, the universe, whatever, this, that, it's fake. It's not real. I feel like maybe that's what I should title this video. Narcissistic personality disorder makes me think that things are not real. Well, you know, maybe I'll condense that. Maybe just like NPD makes me doubt my experiences. Or, I mean, I shouldn't even think about how to make the title while I'm making the video. Who cares? I'm just like, I'll figure that out then while this is in the process of being like, you know, made, it's done. I, you know, go out of my way to post it, whatever, yeah, do all those things that are absolutely necessary, I guess. Well, it's not even absolutely necessary, but see, that's what I mean. It's the delusions of life, bro. Like, I'll toss these words around. Okay, why are there so many synonyms for things that ultimately mean the same thing, but like, okay, they hold different connotations? Like, I don't know, let me think of like something. Okay, like, I don't know, like if I call you smart, that might be something like nice. But if I call you something like a prodigy or like brilliant or something, that probably is gonna hyper go up even more. Because like, you know, these connotations, yeah, like, see, that's what's made up about this human experience. The connotations that we put for things are all just like fake. But then we eat it up like drugs. But then we tell people like drug addicts, like, okay, face reality. No one's facing reality. Like, I mean, I know probably to a lot of people, maybe you can't even finish this video because how long has it been recording? I don't have to say it, you can see it, but like, yeah, because like maybe you already like clicked off, but I'm just like, how do I say this? Oh yeah, nobody's facing reality. It's like, see, but like, here's the thing, the drug addicts, the alcoholics, the whatever, like, you know, I don't even want to say honest. Maybe I wouldn't even like a lot of those people as well. Even if I have tendencies to be like, okay, I see why somebody would just want to drink their entire lives away. Because, fuck it, your life's gonna throw you away as it goes through anyway. It's just, it's absurd, it's crazy, and it's preposterous. Look at me and my theatrics right now. Am I participating in life at this moment? Because, I don't know if I'm having like a fucking episode right now. I mean, I'm just talking. See, okay, does this have to be called an episode? Can it be called passion? I don't know, man. Like, yeah, we just go through the motions. Do I just have to stop overthinking? Yeah, maybe. Because like, okay, maybe even if I've thought a whole bunch of things that I've said in my mind, it won't come close to what I'm capable of actually expressing. Because maybe when you say something and it doesn't make sense to me, I don't know if like for our own survival, or I feel like I'll be honest about it. I feel like maybe not everyone's going to be able to say it, but even like, I'll reframe any narrative that doesn't fit my like intact to keep going forward. I'll twist and manipulate it to find a way to make it make sense for me. If I'm challenging your beliefs in God, you'll use any theistic argument to make God make sense. And I get it. I'll do the same thing if you like throw it back at me. Regardless of like what we need or don't need to believe, we just go through it's the wirings, bro. And I'm not fooled by it. Even if it's the wirings themselves that make me think I'm not fooled by it. I feel like I'm not as fooled by it as like, compared to like, okay, let's say like everyone else. Because I'm just like, I see the nothingness everywhere. I see how fucking plain and empty it is. There is no me. There is no you. You still get your sense of self somewhat from other people, and maybe I'm just fully honest about it, or maybe that's just my way of like coping to be like, oh, I'm not insecure because I'm always externally focused in terms of my self-esteem towards how I think about other people in a way to feel about myself. I don't know, man. It's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy, bro. And because it's absurd, and even though there's no real me, I'm still going. So I guess like I'll manipulate myself still, even though I spoke a little bit about like love or like whatever. I love life. That didn't make sense, but it made sense enough to be able to say it. See, that's what's absurd. It doesn't have to make sense. It just drives you to say it because it feels like it makes sense. Yeah, there it is again. Feels with the feelings. Always with the feelings, like the human condition of like with the emotions and the passions. That shit is stupid as fuck. This world is stupid as fuck. But okay, there's degrees of stupidity we don't like, but degrees of stupidity that we appreciate to make us keep going. To make us keep going. I don't know. I mean, I'm there, but I'm not. I am there physically. If there's supposed to be anything more, to I guess, I don't know. You can keep trying your best to, convince me. Well, you don't have to actually, but like, I just mean in the sense, like, okay, like spiritual notions. Spiritual notions, I don't understand. even when people want to say that narcissists are contaminated by demons. I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in like fucking supernatural angels, demons, whatever. So I'm just like, if I'm contaminated by a demon, like, okay, well, I don't know. Well, I guess, okay, if they're saying that you need to believe that, right? Because if you had like a narcissist friend, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, or like whatever, using the highest connotation of bad to compare someone to like a demon, yeah, I'm sure it makes you feel better. I'm sure it makes you feel better. So maybe I don't fault you completely. But then again, fuck you, because, oh, boo-hoo, oh, poor you. I said that, so I guess I don't really feel sympathetic, but I'm just like, that then maybe I can, maybe I will. It's just whatever allows in the brain, you know? Like maybe if I'm wired to feel the sympathy or empathy for someone, it'll happen, but if not, if not. Because like, okay, like for example, people bash their like stereotypical interpretation of like a sociopath, somebody with like ASPD, like, oh, they don't care about me. Oh, there's something wrong with them. They have like a brain abnormality. But even though the reason for that is essentially the same as like you and your empathy. So it was no one's choice, man. It was no one's choice. But there's an illusion of choice, I guess, in terms of what we do. Apparently. Oh man, I'm just going off like fucking hysterics here, I guess. But see, I guess that's what they mean when they say live life. Well, not really, because like I know not a lot of people are actually narcissists, but it's just like, is this the passion? Is this the passion? Can I have the passion for no passion then? If I can't have passion for no passion, because that is my being, just nothing, black and void, then tell me, what is actual passion? Oh. I say Jesus Christ a lot for someone that's not even a Christian. Because Jesus Christ. I pray to no one. I pray to no God. I don't know. I don't even pray for myself. Like, a lot of times, I mean, I can act arrogant. I can act superior, cocky, whatever. But then, like, in a way, after that high fades down, there is no me, and it just goes back to being like blank and empty. In a way, there's nothing I even have to prove to myself. So, yeah. Moral of this, even though morals aren't fucking real, because nothing's fucking real, this is just shit happening. None of this is real. Life isn't real. Life doesn't exist. But, you know, the motions. Anyway. I'll see you on the path of death, because that's where we're all going.